Um, Thanks for joining, everyone. My name is Jared McGriff. I'm head of product marketing here at HyperTrack, and I'm really excited to share this with you and dive into the secret sauce behind enabling fast payments for your shift work marketplace. We're going to hear from experts who help improve shift experiences for millions of shift workers. Kakkad, who's VP of Product here at HyperTrack, and Ahmed Siddiqui, who's Chief Payments Officer at Branch. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it to Ram, and we'll get started. Thanks again.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jared, and thank you everybody for joining us for this webinar today. I am Ram, the VP of Product and Customer Success here at HyperTrack, and super excited to join Ahmed and the branch team in this joint webinar. To introduce HyperTrack real briefly, we basically help you automate time and attendance using live location. And what that helps you do is, of course, brings us to the topic of today's webinar, which is enabling same-day pay, which Ahmed will walk us through later in the webinar. But there are a bunch of other use cases that are live location related that we've discovered with our customers around, time and attendance disputes that need to be resolved and you need data for it, or automating mileage payouts, or automating, no call, no show detection and backfills. And HyperTrack essentially powers that for a bunch of shift work marketplace customers or staffing companies in general. So to set a little more context on the need for live location, I want everyone to just take a pause and, imagine the world of ride sharing and Uber. And if I take you back to that example and I ask you to imagine it without live location, does that even exist? Right? And the answer is obviously no. But in the world of, shift work and staffing, it operates essentially like Uber would without live location. And essentially it's in the Stone Ages. 2 weeks ago, we were at the SIA conference in Miami, and it was abundantly clear to us that, folks aren't really using the latest tech to track their work. And that's where HyperTrack comes in. We think live location is a critical piece of it. And super excited to discuss how we can use that to automate same-day pay, which is a key value proposition for workers and operations folks alike. And so with that, I'll hand over to Ahmed, who will talk a bit more about Branch and walk us through the demo.
Cool. Thanks, Ram. Thanks, Jared, for having me. And again, thank you everybody for joining the webinar. My name is Ahmed Siddiqui, and I lead product and payments over at Branch. And we're a workforce payments platform. And so what we do is we enable a same-day payout for working Americans. Could be contract workers. It could be Domino's Pizza delivery drivers or anybody that's working in restaurants. And what we do is we offer tools to employers and gig platforms to be able to offer this kind of great experience to your workers. And one great example of this is we power the Uber Pro Card, which actually allows the Uber drivers to get paid after every ride. So in many cases, these drivers are getting paid almost 30 to 60 times a day. And again, they work very different kinds of hours, be it that they work, evenings or they work weekends, whatever. We're still able to get them paid at that level of frequency. And we operate across multiple different industries. So think about healthcare workers, think about logistics workers, delivery drivers, et cetera. We want to be able to power this kind of experience for all different kinds of workers. So, with that being said, wanted to talk through kind of a few things here, and we'll walk through this in this order in the agenda. So we'll talk about the importance of same-day pay, which is probably why most of you guys are on this webinar as well. We'll talk about how do you deliver the right fast pay experience for your platform. How do we use location data to support fast payments? I'll give a demo of how same-day pay works in action and what are some best practices. So with that being said, can we go to the next slide, Jared? So let me give you guys some stats on this really quick. So there are 85 million jobs that could go unfilled because they aren't enough skilled workers to take them. I mean, this is going to become a bigger and bigger problem as we move on. And so the other piece that we are seeing is faster payments is just a compelling value prop that can help retain and attract workers. So again, the Uber example that I gave you guys, a lot of workers are looking at Uber and saying, well, you know what? I can work as much as I want and with Uber and get paid um, as frequently as after every trip. Why would I want to work somewhere where I'm only getting paid maybe every 2 weeks? And so there is a demand coming from workers to get faster payments. And so as you can see that again, 85 or sorry, 75% of US workers said in a Fortune study that they would like to get paid every day. And the reason for this, the main driver of this ask is because most working Americans are working paycheck to paycheck. And getting paid on the 15th and the 30th is just not fast enough. In many cases, they will spend all the money in their account, won't have any money in between those periods. And so it creates a lot of like financial hardship. And so what we believe is if you can actually get them paid out on a daily basis, it actually reduces a lot of stress for these people. So we can go ahead and move to the next one. So let's talk a little bit about how do we deliver same day pay. And the main piece that you need to think about is how fast is your data? For a lot of places, data is the main problem that we run into, in that the time and attendance data is just not fast enough, or the way in which that unit of work is being logged is not fast enough. But if you can get data on a daily basis of how much somebody has worked or whatever quantity this person has worked, then what you can do is you can start looking at things like, how am I actually going to now deliver this pay? And so our traditional way has always been through ACH and direct deposit. So again, most of us on this call get paid through a direct deposit to our bank account. But how does that work when we are getting data on a daily basis? But usually we're getting the data at the end of the day. And ACH and direct deposit is a batch-based process, which means that we won't be able to see the person getting paid until potentially even the next day, because the cutoff window for ACH is at a very specific time. So can we still use this method to get people paid on same day? You can also rely on a vendor like Branch, where we can power instant payouts, or we can even create dedicated digital wallet experiences where, again, you can pay into that digital wallet many, many times, even a day, um, for a very low cost or no cost, essentially. So, again, as workers are working at any period of time, like they're working throughout the day, they might be working nights, they might be working weekends. And if the data is working on a daily basis, you need a way to pay out these workers quickly. And even if it means I got to pay out this worker at 1 a.m., you can actually do it. So let's go into the next slide or section. Let me just switch to my screen now. Um, so we are going to talk about our friend Orla, who is a worker. She's a picker and packer, contract worker at a fictitious company that we're calling Pick and Pack. And so because she's a contract worker, she has the opportunity of working whenever she wants to work, for as long as she works. And she loves this flexibility because she has, a lot of other obligations that she has to deal with during the day. But she has decided that on this particular day, she's going to work a full 8 hours and make the money. And she's very excited to be working for Pick and Pack because she knows that she's actually going to get paid right away. So, Ram, I wanted to pause right there because where this is going to start is with the HyperTrack experience. And I was hoping you can kind of describe this and talk about this a little bit more, and then I'll dive into the demo.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Ahmed. I think so. Ahmed set it up beautifully in terms of explaining that, same day pay requires same day data and instant pay requires instant data. And that's where HyperTrack comes in. And what you're seeing on the screen in front of you is sort of the bedrock for it, which is the HyperTrack shift timeline. So what you see here is on the left panel is a description of the shift that Orla, our friend, is actually going to be executing. It's a little small, of course, but if I just walk through some of the data, it's a 9 a.m. shift that's expected to be for 8 hours, and it's at a particular destination, and the timeline of the map actually shows that to you. And this is actually so for the 9 a.m. shift. What you can see in the card that's been called out on the left-hand side is that work started tracking at around 8:30 to make sure that she's going to make it on time. And HyperTrack starts flagging for you all the risks and ETAs of her as she's going towards the job. And the green dot, as we're all experienced to, is the live location that Orla's at right now. And you can see that, there's a plan. She's expected to be there by 9, and she's expected to be there till 5 as per the shift definition. And so the timeline will keep is where all the automated tracking and signals happen. And all of this, which we're showing here, is of course a UI, which is available out of the box. But HyperTrack is a builder-first company, and all these signals that you see here are also available in real time via API and webhooks. And so ultimately, you could build your own experience in your own control tower to embed these views or build your own. So with that, I think, Ahmed, yeah, you want to take it over?
Awesome. Thank you. So Orla is on her way to work, and what will happen is that we'll see that she has arrived. She gets in a little early. Her scheduled start time is at 9 o'clock, and she's supposed to end at 5 o'clock. So what will happen now is that right at 8:55, as she's getting in, this is her phone, and on her phone she's got a app for pick and pack to be able to clock in and clock out, and then she's also got a pick and pack digital wallet that Branch has white labeled and made available for Pick and Pack, our fictitious company, and that's actually where she's going to get paid. So she'll get paid to that digital wallet. There's actually a MasterCard debit card attached to it too, so she can actually use it. So we'll walk through this demo as it's happening. So at 8:55, she gets to the location, gets out of her car, and she goes ahead and clicks on the clock in button. And now everything starts. She works her shift, and 5 o'clock rolls around. And what she does is that she goes back into the Pick and Pack clock in, clock out app, and she goes ahead and pushes the clock out button. So she has now completely done her shift. And what will happen is that we will be able to see that she actually did clock in and clock out, but her working hours was 9 to 5, and she was actually at the location at that time. And then sometime later, she has, gone home, and we know that she's left the location. So what's great about this flow is that we are able to confirm that she actually was on site for the time that she was supposed to be there. And in many cases, again, the clock in, clock out data could be available on a daily basis, but what we see a lot of times is that people are actually clocking in, clocking out, but those hours typically need to get approved by a manager, and sometimes the manager doesn't approve it until end of the day or maybe even end of the week. And so the location tracking data that HyperTrack is providing actually helps us give that confirmation that you actually don't need a manager's approval in this scenario, because you have good confidence that she actually did come into work and she did clock in and she did her work. So that's why here we're able to track that. Ram, did you have anything else that you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, I think just going back to the theme of same day pay, same day data, or instant pay, instant data. I think the other missing piece here is instant process or same day process, because what we've actually heard is that workers who work sometimes on the first of a month, but the company they're working for has a processing time, like has a 30-day end of month kick-in process. So as a worker, that's a horrible experience because I've worked on the first. I might have even sent you the data right before I even left the location to actually, get my pay. But your process only rolls around on the first of the next month. And so that's a 30-day simple process delay. I mean, that should not be happening in today's world. Workers need their money and it needs to be fast and automated. You should not have to invest operations time in validating some of these things, technology should do that for you. So all of this basically enables you to do that right away, and keep a workforce happy, which is ultimately going to be a differentiator for you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So now that Orla is at her next location, she looks at her phone and she gets a push notification. So the push notification says you just got paid $120 for your awesome work at Pick and Pack. Keep up the great work. She's like, whoa, okay, I just got paid. So she clicks on that and she sees her Pick and Pack white label wallet that Branch produces. And she'll see that her balance has already gone up to $120. And you'll see that there's a deposit from Pick and Pack. And she's like, oh, okay. I just got to my location and I actually need some gas. And so what she can do is, since this wallet comes with a MasterCard debit card that can be provisioned into her Apple Pay or Google Pay wallet, she goes ahead and taps that card at the Shell station for $40, and that $120 is immediately available to her. And she can use it right away to buy gas to get home, or again, to prep for the next business day, or whatnot. But again, this is very powerful in that, like, she did her first shift and she got paid right away, probably even before she got home that same day. So this is the kind of experience that we love powering. And so that's why we love partnering with HyperTrack, because they can actually make this data available, instantly, to be able to enable this kind of experience. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I think we'll see Jared's deck again. So if you don't mind going into the next slide, please. Awesome. So let me give you guys some same day best practices. So there are a few things that we should be thinking about when putting this kind of thing in. And so really, we want to ensure that there is same day approval. And so we discussed this in the demo. Um, However you're tracking the data, it's not good or valid until it's actually approved. And so if that means that the manager is able to approve it right away before Orla leaves, great. That's excellent. But if not, we can use tools like HyperTrack to be able to do that. The next thing is to, like, really identify the best methods that work for your workforce. The example that I showed you in the demo is a white labeled wallet app that we're providing to Orla that Branch is powering. That's just one way for a worker to get paid. If your workforce demands that they must get paid to their own existing bank account, be it, maybe they've been banking with Wells Fargo for 20 years or whatever, and they just want to get their pay there are options for that. And so Branch, we can offer that as a service as well. And so depending on the type of workforce you have, we can provide either a own digital wallet experience, or we can also send money instantly to a bank account as well. So that's an option. And then finally, the other major piece is we just want to make sure that you're setting the expectation to your workforce correctly. And so if the expectation really is truly that they'll get paid after they clock out, you need to make sure that you tell them, hey, make sure you clock out and make sure you have everything that's needed to be able to get that money, and you'll get paid. And so if you set that expectation correctly with them, that actually builds a lot of trust when they do actually see that money land in their account at the end of their shift. Or you might say, hey, look, you won't get it right away after your shift, but maybe, 2 to 3 hours later, you'll get it. Or maybe you actually do end up getting it the next morning. But if you set that expectation and you hit it, it actually builds a lot of great trust with your workers. And that actually leads to them wanting to work more because they know that they'll get paid on time. So those are some best practices. I don't know, Ram, if you had any other points or thoughts on this one.
No, I think you've covered it. I think, yeah, one of the reasons we love working with Branch is because they're always pushing the envelope on making sure that we're doing right by the workers, and empowering this entire payment experience is, of course, their bread and butter. And it's great that we can come together to give customers, a new option to sort of vault them forward into same day pay. So it's been fun working with you guys.
Yeah. Well, cool. Jared, I don't know if there are any like questions that have come in.
You're on mute,
Yeah, we
Jared.
have a question here. How long does it take to implement HyperTrack as the mobile SDK in the app for location tracking?
Hey Vijay, yeah, Ram here. I can take that. I mean, yeah, we've actually the most recent experience of going to production we've seen is that from start of implementation to production was 2 weeks. Typically, we make a 6 week guarantee where we partner with you for the implementation, but it's been known to happen faster when there's commitment on your side. Hello World is like a day, but getting it all tied up in production takes some more time, as you know. 2 weeks is the fastest we've seen very recently, but 6 weeks is what we commit to.
Cool,
And
thanks,
usually the
Ron.
time is around the resources on the customer side across multiple different stakeholders.
Yeah, cool. And then this looks like a question for Ahmed. What's the difference between same-day pay, on-demand pay, and earned wage access?
Okay. There's a lot there. But great question. So, what is the difference between same day pay? So you have to think about it in terms of who your workforce is first. So if you are primarily working with 1099 contractors, same day pay and next day pay is really important because you don't actually have to worry about paying for taxes. So these are contractor payouts or AP payouts. And so if you have the data that tells you how much to be able to pay out this person, you can go ahead and make that money available to them right away. Now, same day is what we like working with because essentially, if somebody has earned $100 and you need us to branch to pay it out, you just call our API and we make that money available to them right away, or same day for that matter. Next day is typically reserved for when you want to use things like ACH, where there's typically a cutoff time. So just to get a little technical here, the cutoff window typically for ACH is around 6 o'clock Central Time. And so if you can have the data made available, you can actually send out a payment and it will typically show up the next business day. Now, again, when it shows up is dependent on the recipient's bank timing, but ultimately you can actually still send money next day. When we're talking about earned wage access, it's a little bit different. So this is more reserved for W-2 workers. So think about your restaurant workers or your retail workers, et cetera, who are actually employed there. Those workers are typically paid through traditional payroll where the taxes are deducted. There might be other benefits and such that are deducted as well. And so they're classically paid every 2 weeks. So let's just say 15th and the 30th. And what you can do is you can offer a service called Earned Wage Access where you can allocate a portion of their earnings based on how many hours that they've worked, and make it available to them on a daily basis. So, again, if Orla was a W-2 worker instead, what we would do is we would look at how many hours she's worked, multiply it by her hourly rate, and then probably discount it by half just to make sure that there's enough money to cover taxes and whatnot. And we can make that money available. Now, Orla can then choose to take that money. It's usually like an on-demand type of thing. Or she can say, you know what, I don't really need the money right now. I'll just wait for it in my paycheck. And so what will happen is that if she does opt to take that money on the same day, that money needs to get deducted from her paycheck when the actual payroll run happens. And so there's a little bit more intricacies involved here. Whereas with same day pay with 1099 workers, like it's really easy. There's not a lot of reconciliation that needs to happen. And so again, we're able to service both. And again, very, very good question.
Awesome, thanks for that. And this last question is Yeah, well, it looks like we have a couple more questions, but this question is related to the question we had for Ram earlier. Maybe you can chime in on this, Ahmed. If I have the data, how long might it take to launch a same-day pay solution for my company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you have the data and it's approved on a daily basis, then what you can do is you can work with us to enable same day payouts through the branch wallet, which again the branch wallet app that you can download from the App Store is ready and available right now. And so we've seen people get going as quickly as just 1 week. But if you want something a little bit more complicated, like a white label solution, like what we were showing in the demo for Pick and Pack, that takes a little bit longer because what we will do is we will actually produce that app and publish it for you on the App Store. And then there is a little bit of integration that you need to do, but it's not the most of the heavy lifting is on Branch to do that. But that typically is like a 2 month engagement.
Got it. Okay, cool. Um, and then it looks like there's one more question here. That's also directed to you. I mean, any additional guidance on avoiding fraud for same-day pay? Location tracking data may give us some indication of work being
Yeah.
done, but it's still a risk of fraud. So how do we address that?
Yeah, there definitely are other factors, and again, it depends on the industry too, right? I mean, is it food delivery or is it actual like hours work? There's multiple different things. I think we probably need to get into the weeds a little bit more before I can say yes, this is the best way to fight fraud. But yeah, there definitely are different fraud vectors that you have to account for. But what I will say is, I mean, the location data in addition to actual, the worker like clocking in, clocking out, or having some other thing in your app to prove that they did the work helps out a lot. In delivery, what I've actually seen is that there needs to be like a photo proof that the item or food has been delivered. So I mean, it all kind of depends on how your business is set up.
Sure. Got it. Um, Thanks for that. Thanks for the question, John. And then one more question from VJ. Um, can you share details on how HyperTrack might manage no-shows? That's also, kind of related to these um, pay scenarios where someone, doesn't show up when they're expected to. So how's that handled?
Yeah, great question, Vijay. I will call out here that I think about a month ago we did a webinar on no call, no show detection, and Jared, maybe we could, of course, forward the recorded link to that webinar to Vijay as well. But I'll broadly break it down into three stages. There's the no call, no show detection, the backfill finding, and then the tracking of the person who's going to be backfilling. So, kind of going back to the earlier example, Orla was doing a shift at 9, and we started tracking her prior to the shift. So pre-shift tracking is what we call it on HyperTrack. As you detect that her location is not indicating that she's going to make it on time, you can message her internally. Again, you control most of the messaging, and HyperTrack is starting to build some bots around that space also. But for the time being, it's managed by customers where they can reach out or determine whether it's going to be a no call, no show basis location or not. Once you realize it is going to be a no call, no show because the worker is never going to make it on time or is not even showing any intent of moving there, you can use the nearby search to find the closest workers to the location, filtered by skill set and rank ordered by distance to the location where they need to be. And then take your call on who you want to allocate that worker to, because you might want to allocate it to somebody who might be rated a certain way or might be new to the platform. So there's business logic on how you actually assign, which is what you control. And then finally, once you assign the order to that new person, you can detect that they're actually making it towards the location on time and communicate to your customer saying, hey, the worker is now changed and this is the new worker who's going to reach there at this amount of time. So it's a three-step process, and HyperTrack helps you at all stages of each step of the way. And yeah, I would suggest you do take a look at that webinar that we had about a month or two ago. Well, Jared, if you can share that out later, that would be great.
Yeah, will do. Cool. Thanks for that, Ron. Appreciate that detailed answer, and thanks for your answers as well, man. That was great explanation of how to enable these solutions for various environments and various scenarios. Um, it looks like that's a wrap for this session. So definitely appreciate everyone joining and thank you for your questions. Just wanted to leave you all with this quick slide on how to contact us going forward. Of course, I'll follow up with VJ with a link to that webinar. But for any other questions that you might have, please go directly to sales@branch app for any questions related to branch solutions, and go to help@hypertrack.com to request any information about HyperTrack and how we help improve shift work experiences. So with that, appreciate everyone's attendance and your engagement. And thank you to the speakers, and we'll see you next time.